Gotta move my bench out, get my chair, gotta get ready for reading. Hey, Janie, I see you're on here. How are you, Janie? Hey, Jane, how are you? Hey, Jane, how are you? All my Janes are getting on. I tell you what, it has been a crazy thing. Hey, Jane. Oh, I'm so glad you remembered. Hey, Cindy, I'm so glad you're here. Oh, y'all, so today started out kind of crazy. Oh, hey, Tammy. Crazy. Hey, Genius, how about you? I'm glad you're good. Hey, Judy Tucker. Hello this evening. Hi, Michelle. Hey, Linda. Oh, good. You set your alarm. I know I have to set my alarm too. I tell you, speaking of alarms, Linda, and Jeannie's question. So today's Jack's birthday. He's turning 21. I think we talked about that last night. So I had ordered him some birthday balloons to be sent to, or to be taken. I was going to take them to his house today because it's a great excuse to get out and get me some Dunkin' Donut. So, and our church is online right now too. So I was just like, okay, so I can do this. So I had ordered the balloons so I could go in, get the balloons with my mask and my gloves on, right? And just have Eddie waiting in the minivan so he could just open the door and I could throw in the balloons and off we go, tie them to his house, and then we would be able to get a Dunkin' Donut coffee, and I would be able to get home to watch church. But church is recorded so I can watch it over and over. You know, and everything in my life is like planned out. I mean, I have a planner. I like everything to go just so. Like, I like to get up in the morning. I like to do my journaling. I like to do my meditating, the yoga, my walking, my jazzercise, sit down to work, have my lunch at a certain time, watch Days of Our Lives at 1 o'clock, and then do business stuff. Like, I have a schedule. And so when things don't work out, it kind of throws me off. I mean, hello, control freak, this girl. So, anyways, what happened was that at our Kroger, which is our grocery store, they had like 7 to 8 is for the elderly to come shop so that it's clean and not a lot of people hadn't been in there. And so when I ordered the balloons, I said specifically, you know, this is what I want. And she's like, okay, great. Matter of fact, she calls me back and she says, well, we don't have this balloon, but we have another balloon similar to that. Will that one be okay? And I said, sure. So today was the day I was picking them up at 8 o'clock this morning. So I thought, well, I'll go first thing, you know. Even though Jack is not very good at social distancing and he was coming here today, that's a whole nother issue with me. Anyways, so what happened was I get there and nobody is in the floral department. And I've got my mask on, and so I go over to the customer service and I say, I ordered balloons and da-da-da, and they're like, well, let me get somebody to help you. I'm like, okay. So they get this guy, and he comes over and he says that he can't find the balloons, that he doesn't see them anywhere, and what did I order? And I said, oh, I ordered this. As a matter of fact, she said she called me, and I had even written down this girl's name and left it at home. And I said she had called and said that she had found a balloon that said 21 on it, because I wanted the 2 and the 1, but they were out of the 2. So then she said, she called me back and told me she found a balloon that said 21st birthday on it. I'm like, perfect. Oh, that's why there's a balloon here. So anyways, what happened was that this girl then comes in, because now he's blowing up 12 red balloons, 12 black balloons, and then these 2 Mylar balloons, right? So I'm thinking, okay, how long is this going to take? And it's pouring rain, right? That's another thing, pouring rain. So Eddie is in the car waiting. It's pouring rain. I've got my mask on. I'm hot and sweaty because I'm having my hot flashes. And so this other girl comes in and she clocks in. And so he says, can you ring her up? And she said, sure. So then she asked me for my phone number for my card. And I gave her my phone number. And I said, oh, I could have just typed it in right here on the little pad. And she's like, yeah, and you just put your card up under the plastic to read your card. And I'm like, okay. So I'm talking to her, and she has these big, long nails, and they look so good. And I'm like, wow. And she's young. And I said, oh my gosh, your nails look great. She goes, yeah, I do them at home. I'm like, well, they look awesome. And they're like that long. And they're like, tink, 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 tink. So everything went great. Got the balloons, and he's like, are you okay? What took you so long? I go, well, and I explained the story to Eddie. So we get to Jack's house, and I could tell they had had a thrown down party last night, which was fine. I had to tell myself it's fine. So anyways, so I get up there, I tie the balloons on, one flies off, I'm like, whatever, who cares? So tie the balloons on. So then go to Dunkin' Donuts. My sister is here because she's watching church with us. So we watch church, and then I have to go back at noon to pick up the cake to the same Kroger because it wasn't going to be ready. He likes a specific cake. So I go back to pick up the cake, and so while I'm standing there to get the cake, my phone rings, and it's Kroger where I'm standing, and I'm like, hello, and this girl goes, hi Tanya, this is Mackenzie from the floral department. I've talked to you a couple times this week about your balloon order, and I just want to know, did you decide not to get those because we've got those ready for you? And I said, really, Mackenzie? Because I'm standing in your Kroger currently at the bakery to get the cake. And I came in this morning and I got balloons, but no one could find the balloons that you were supposed to have ready for me. And she said, you came in today? And I go, yes, I came in today. And she said, well, do you know who helped you? And I said, well, this guy came over and helped me, didn't know his name, and then some little girl with black curly hair. So I hear her say, she said she came in today. That little girl goes, I didn't help anybody this morning pick up these red balloons. Obviously, it's not filled. I said, well, I picked them up, and I hung up, after that, I hung up the phone. So I thought about that while I waited in line to get my cake. And I thought, this string would be good to choke somebody in a book, wouldn't it? But I didn't. I went up there. And I said, hi, with my mask on. But this time I've actually got my hair fixed. And I said, I'm Tanya Kappas. You just called me. And I said, and I got my balloons. And she's the girl that rang me out. And that girl goes, I didn't ring you out. I go, yes, you did. I said, we had this whole conversation about your fingernails. And I said, and you took my phone number and typed it in. And she's like, oh. Yeah, I forgot. And I was like, and the girl behind the counter, the manager, like, didn't believe that I had picked up the balloons already. Like, she believed she blew up all these balloons. And so I said, well, where's the balloons? Because she told me that they were all blown up waiting for me, right? Because she didn't know I was really in the store after I told her. So I said, well, where's the balloons? And she goes, oh, well, I've not blown them up yet. You didn't show up. And I said, just on the phone, you told me that you had the balloons, and I was just going to come up here and take them. And I was going to buy them again, just to have more balloons at my house. And she said, oh, well, no, I didn't. I was like, oh my goodness. So that happened. So then we had PF Chang's, because that's Jack's favorite. And, of course, he doesn't social distance. So I sprayed him down, make him take his shoes off. But, if I just, I'm not going to turn. And plus, he informed me that he might be moving home. I'm like, So, I don't know, these kids. I mean, what do you do with a 21-year-old kid, right? So, of course, Austin gets the liquor out and has Jack do a shot with him at noon. I'm like, what kind of kids are y'all? I mean, it was a hot mess express. But one shot wasn't going to kill him, obviously. But anyways, and so we ate Chinese food, and we had his cake, and we opened presents, and they hung around till like just a little bit ago. He hung around till just a little bit ago, and then he had to go because he's in college and he has projects to do. So, and I didn't even ask what he did last night because I don't want to know. In my head, he is absolutely in the library or whatever, So, also, did you guys know that there's a helium shortage? I had no idea. So, I was going to go to get the balloons at the Dollar Tree because they're $1 instead of these $7 things. And they told me there's a helium shortage. That helium comes from China. I had no idea. I said, are you kidding me? No clue. So there's a shortage of helium. So anyways, that's enough chit chat with me. Let me scroll back here and see if anybody had any questions. Hey Rose, you're here. Let's go. Okay, Linda set her alarm, and I set my alarm too because I'm like, listen, I gotta be with my readers. Y'all got to go. Which I was talking about how I'm totally a planner. Well, y'all, normally for releases, I plan out all my stuff and all the promotion, and like I don't feel like I've promoted Tints, Trails, and Turmoil at all. Like I just feel like I'm just like out of it. Maybe it's this whole virus thing that has me feeling out of it. But really, it's not like I guess my day I say isn't different, but I guess it kind of is because Austin's home, but he doesn't do nothing. He doesn't bother me. But when somebody's in the house and you haven't had kids in the house for 4 years, it's kind of odd. But he's great. I mean, he doesn't bother me a bit. But I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it is. I just don't feel like I'm on my game. So I sat down today with my planner and I got to it for All She Wrote, because All She Wrote comes out next month, and I don't even think I've even posted that once. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. Hey, Luann. Let's see. Rose, I set my alarm too every night because I'm afraid I'm going to forget, although it's in my head. Darcy, it's been crazy at work. Hey, Kim. Let's see. I think y'all are all laughing at my story. Hey, Stacy, girl. I know Jeannie. Oh, Deb, she lost signal. I hope she got back. Yeah, actually, it totally irritated me. Yeah, it was a mess. I did get the balloons. Yeah, they were totally confused. And I don't know, who knows. But it was hilarious because I think that when she said, well, we've got your balloons blown up, and I'm on the phone with her, and I said, oh, I already got them. And so then I thought, as I sat there, I'm like, if she's got them, I'm going to go up there and get them. I'm going to tell her I'm in here. So, and I said, well, I'm in here right now, and she probably didn't believe me. But when I marched up in there and I said, where's the balloons? Because I'm just going to buy them again. And she was like, oh, we didn't blow them up. I go, I thought you just told me on the phone you blew them up. Oh, yeah, Ashley, I don't like when people lie either. That is my number one pet peeve. My kids would say to you, what is the number one thing that I won't tolerate? There's a lot of stuff I tolerate, but that is the one thing I don't tolerate. Linda said that her son works between semesters at a store and he hates blowing up balloons. I'm sure. And, that would be a mess. Hey, Deborah Jo. Hot Mess Express, Jeannie. I am. Yes, for months they haven't had. Oh, Tammy, you said he's a little angel. He's a stinker. So your Dollar Tree has them. That's great, Jane. Mine doesn't. They did. And then, have you been lately? Yeah, it's been a crazy day. But that's okay because I got to see my kids. Yeah, Cindy, I didn't know that either. Oh, Ashley said her Dollar Tree hasn't had helium for like 6 months. Yeah. Is everybody getting glitchy here? Linda said she read the first chapter and ready for the rest of the book. Crystal, you're so sweet. Darcy's people in the nursing home have lost their minds. I have lost my mind. Yeah, Rose, I think COVID has thrown us all off our schedules. Connie, I hope you don't lose me either. Yeah, we do love our Kroger. Oh, Jane, I'm sorry it's blurry. I don't know why. It's beautiful here now. The sun came out. It's gorgeous. There's no. See if I can turn the phone around. There's my lights. See, it's pretty out. It's not even a. It's not at all a mess. It's pretty out now. Gorgeous. Oh, good, Deb. I'm glad you're back. Jane says I'm out of sync. I'm like Bruce Lee. How y'all doing today? Y'all ready to read the book? I don't know. I'm not good at this live thing. It's crazy. Anyways, guys, we are here because we are here going to read chapter 9 of A Charming Crime. If you can hear me, Jeannie must be able to hear me because she said it's send the sun to her, and Rose says it's cold and miserable there. And Jeannie and Jade are both laughing at my Bruce Lee impression. Rowena, you want to see her? Oops, can y'all see her? She's sleeping. Ro! Hey! Did y'all see her? So, anyways, I'll show you again. So she has these scratch pads. So, I buy them and I just stick them all over the house. And my kids are like, what is up with the scratch pads? Because see, we are dog people. So they've never lived with a cat. And we are such dog people. And so they're like, what is that? I'm like, it's scratch pads. I'm like, you got like 10 of them around the house. I'm like, I know. So what Rowena loves to run and scratch and run on them. And so what I started doing is I'll go run and jump on them and I'll start scratching on it like she does. And she walks over to me like, what's she doing? Then I'll run her over to the next one. She like thinks I'm crazy. But yeah, so she's laying on her scratch pad watching me. She doesn't stray too far from me anymore. Anyways, we are here to read A Charming Crime. I take up too much of y'all's time. See, I talk too much. And we are on chapter 9. And we have in chapters 1 through 8 learned that June is a homeopathic curist, or what I like to call spiritualist. And she has moved to the small town of Whispering Falls, where she found out her mom had a shop there selling homeopathic cures, and her father was a police officer there as well. He is also a homeopathic curist, but he's also a wizard, which we'll find out, which was really his main thing as a police officer. So we also found out there's a few rules in the town that you have to abide by, like you can only have one shop per family if you have, and then you cannot be committed of a crime until the crime has been solved, but you can't leave the village. So there is no like jail time for June, since she is #1 suspect now that Anne, one of the local members of Whispering Falls, has been found dead with June's charm bracelet in her grasp. And her and June had some words, which makes June obviously a suspect. So we are going to read chapter 9 tonight. And then Wind Calls the Heart comes on at 8, I think. Do y'all watch Wind Calls the Heart? We'll talk about that in a minute. Chapter 9. My first day in Whispering Falls was turning out to be the worst day of my life. Not only did I lose my charm bracelet and it showed up dead in someone's hands, but I'd passed out twice and found out I was a spiritualist. And I didn't even understand what that was. Even though it was already dark, surely someone was out and about. I grabbed the ding dong off the counter along with the skeleton key to my shop and Mr. Prince Charming and headed out on the town. The fireflies danced around me and dotted the night sky, creating a little trail down Main Street. No one or nothing was out. It made me wonder if they had locked their doors tight because the new girl had killed one of their own, or just locked the doors out of fear. Not me. I was on a mission to find out anything I could to clear my name. Glory Bee Pet Shop was the only store with the light on. Petunia was probably feeding all the animals, and I hoped she was up for company. The instant smell of animals hit me when I pushed the heavy electric blue wood door open. It was a wavy yellow metal detail that resembled the branches of a tree. One thing was for sure, all the shops had the most beautiful doors that led into the amazing stores you never knew existed. No wonder Whispering Falls was a heavy tourist town. I'd only wish I could have shared it with Darla or my dad. Yeah. As if he could read my mind, Mr. Prince Charming stood up on his hind legs and batted at my new charm bracelet, reminding me that the Celtic knot was going to keep me safe. At least thinking that was getting me through this crazy mess. There wasn't anything normal about Glory Bee. I wasn't sure, but I swear I saw a hedgehog run and then roll across the grassy floor to the real-life tree that stood in the corner of the room. As sure as I was standing there, a bird skimmed the top of my head and landed on a branch next to a gray squirrel. You behave yourselves, I scolded Mr. Prince Charming before he could get into any trouble. He had been known to chase several birds, squirrels, and chipmunks. I walked over to the tree, and as sure as I was standing there, the tree was as real all the way down to the grassy floor. It was as if they had built Glory Bee and forgotten to lay the foundation. No wonder I didn't see any animals in Whispering Falls. They all lived here and were living the good life in harmony. Even Mr. Prince Charming sniffed around a few dogs, finally following one to the tree. In a blink of an eye, Mr. Prince Charming was sitting on the same branch as the squirrel, licking his paws. Please don't swat the squirrel. There was already an accused murder in the family, and we didn't need two. I thought I'd heard someone in here. Petunia peeled the canvas gloves off her hand, exposing the empty leash that was still attached to her wrist, and ripped the Velcro of the beekeeper's veil from her head. I was collecting the sweet stuff. She didn't bother batting the handful of bees buzzing around her ear. I cringed at the thought of getting stung by one. I was walking by and you had your lights on, so I thought I'd stop in and say hi. I wasn't going to jump in and ask about the psychic stuff. Well, welcome to my little part of the spiritual world. She reached up and picked a few flowers off the tree and stuck them in the bird's nest of her hairdo. How do you know Anne hasn't come back? So much for not jumping in. I opened the ding-dong tort in half and offered it to her. The duck jumped out of the kids' swimming pool and waddled over. Are you kidding? She took a bite, inhaled, and closed her eyes. Exactly how they made me feel. She pinched a piece off and gave it to the duck. This is delicious. But back to Anne. She always made her presence known. Petunia went on about her chores of feeding several of the animals, taking time to talk to each one. They seemed to understand her with their responses of purrs, barks, tweets, and nibbles. A long-haired mutt followed her around. He had on a long scarf covering his head and a couple different strands of pearls around his neck, each longer than the other. I pointed to him and shrugged. Does he belong to your leash? Oh no, Elroy was a crystal ball spiritualist in a previous life. She whispered in the back of her hand, covering her mouth. He refuses to live with without his clothes. You think that's bad? You should have known him when he was alive. He wore at least 10 necklaces at once. I smiled, not sure how to respond to these animals. She talked to them like they were two-footed humans. Now go! Petunia finally shooed away the bees. Quickly they flew through the store and disappeared through the door she had emerged from. She sat down and used the brush to comb through the Siamese cat's tails. I wish I had another ding-dong to give her in case she needed a bribe. I made a mental note to pick up an extra box at the store. I sat down next to her and picked up the extra brush near her knee. Several dogs ran over too and formed a line. The Great Dane was the first one in line. Petunia brushed a few more before she seemed to remember I was there. Poor Anne. No one deserves to die. At least she doesn't have to deal with allergies anymore. She motioned for the next animal in line, the hedgehog. With every brush, it shivered and shook until it finally curled up and rolled away. It would be a shame to be allergic to honey. She was allergic to honey? I wondered if Oscar noticed anything funny on the autopsy, or who does the autopsies around here. Patience and Constance does the autopsies, right? Mm-hmm. She finished brushing the last animal, Mr. Prince Charming. He is a very sweet cat. I almost asked her to read his fortune or to see if he was someone in another life, but I didn't want to be disappointed. I loved him just the way he was. Do you think that Constance would give me the lowdown on Anne's autopsy? I needed more answers. Petunia wasn't being very forthcoming. Ask Patience when Constance isn't around. Petunia's hazel eyes had specks of gold and seemed to glow when she concentrated on something. She stared at me intently. Patience knows everything going on around here. Petunia picked a weed next to her leg. She was in her own little world as she crawled around the grassy floor, leaving little piles of crabgrass along the way. A goat trotted behind her, gobbling them up. Mr. Prince Charming and I left and walked out the door to a dose of Darla. It was time to see what was left behind the old wooden door. I had a feeling I was unlocking my past. When I flipped on the light, my eyes had to be deceiving me. My heart leapt up in my throat and my lips turned into the biggest smile. I hadn't been this giddy since Mr. Prince Charming showed up with my turtle charm. Carefully, I ran my hands along the tops of the item as I danced to the front of the store. Darla was all about presentation, and I knew she wouldn't disappoint. The front room where all the hard work of Darla's was on display was filled with all sorts of glass bottles of different shapes and sizes. Lamps were scattered throughout the shop on small tables. Each lamp was very ornamental, and no two were alike. I vaguely remember playing with the strands of beads that dangled from them when I was a child. They made the shop so homey, and it felt as if I'd come home to a place where I belonged. There was a chalkboard on the wall with the specials of the day written in Darla's handwriting. I took my phone out of my bag and took a photo of each board. Darla might not have believed in picture memories, but I did. Tiered display tables sprinkled the shop floor with all sorts of remedies on them. Although the bottles had dust on them, I knew the remedies inside were good. Luckily, I think there were enough inventory to open tomorrow. I picked up the feather duster off the counter and shook it in the air. I fanned the air in front of me. There was more dust in the duster than in the shop. The quick surface clean was good enough for now. The backroom walls were lined with every ingredient that I had ever dreamed of. Bottle after bottle was in alphabetical order. The dry herbs hung from the clothesline around the room. There were burners, test room, melting pot, strainer, muslin cloth, cauldrons, and more. There was a couch, a desk, a mini refrigerator that seemed like a good place to rest if I needed to. There was a cardboard box on the couch. Quickly, I rummaged through it. I really wanted to get home and go to bed so the morning would come. I was excited. The box contained a few odds and ends. A book was wedged at the bottom, and I reached for it. I ran my hand along the old leather binding to clear off the dust. Carefully, I opened the leather cover. I didn't want it to fall apart. Darla's journal, I read aloud. Darla had a journal? Come on, I gestured for Mr. Prince Charming to follow me. It was time to lock up and go home. There was enough time to get home, eat a ding-dong, and read a little bit of this journal before I had to get to bed. Not only was tomorrow a big day, I was hoping that the journal had some answers to the question I had been seeking. Clink, clink. I turned the old skeleton key and pushed on the wood door to make sure it was locked. Mr. Prince Charming walked ahead of me with his tail high in the air. He wagged it back and forth with a few fireflies along the way. Having something of Darla's temporarily made all the bad feelings of the day go away. I'd never known her to have a journal like this. It sort of surprised me. Darla had no problem expressing how she felt and when she felt it. She was always so positive and reminded me that we were no better than anyone or the other way around. She taught me to see the good in everyone. I was beginning to doubt that with everything that had happened recently, and hopefully reading some of her journal entries would help restore her belief in me. The new bed was definitely more comfortable than the one I had in Locust Grove, and Mr. Prince Charming curled up in the fold of my arms. I open the shop tomorrow, I read Darla's words aloud. Fun, I was opening the shop tomorrow too. I'm a little nervous about some of the measurements being inaccurate. Otto said that this was good, but I still have doubt in my mind. I tell Otto all the time how I wished I had his instincts and his spiritual gift. But if I can't, I hope our sweet little June does. Darla had doubt. Doubtful was one word I would never use to describe her. She always seemed so confident. Chapter 9. Isn't that fun? Oh, do I have people with me? Let's see. It seems like we had a couple of people knocked off. And Jean said she likes the company every night after not being around people all day. Me too, Jean. I just like being with y'all. So anyways, I think that's a great, I know that was a short chapter, but that's probably a really good place to stop because she starts the next day, which is the beginning of the week in the shop. So maybe tomorrow we can read, we'll definitely read 2 chapters tomorrow. That is so exciting. I just love it. I love it. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Michelle. I'm glad you're here. Oh, Jane, you're back. Okay. Oh, good. So everybody's still here because I'm like, is it mine? Thank you, Linda. I love it. I just love this book so much. Jeannie said she's making some extra extenders for Mass. Oh, yeah, let's talk about those ding dongs before we get off here really quick. So I do love ding dongs. And so Judy's still here. And Darcy said she listened while she charted. Thank you. Love your voice. I don't even like to listen to my voice. But anyway, so I do love ding dongs. So when this book came out, you would not believe, if you go on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or whatever, and you read the 1-star reviews, they all say, she talks too much about ding dongs. You're giving me a 1-star review because I talk about ding dongs? That's okay. I don't mind. They're honest reviews, right? So, thank you, Jane. I'm glad you like this series. It's really sweet. Like, it's not really witchy. I just don't. I make it all up. As a matter of fact, there was a game on my BlackBerry when I was doing the thing, and it was like a potions witch game. And you could make up potions. So I would just stick like letters together and it would like create this potion. And so I would write them all down. So those would be my potions. So it was like a kid's game. But yeah, people would complain about my ding dongs. And and I know that people say, you can't feed animals chocolate. I know that. I don't feed my animals chocolate, but it is make-believe. So in my world, I can feed them chocolate. So... But anyway, so yeah, so I got a lot of 1-star reviews, like, well, I'm never going to read this again. And emails from people telling me. That's okay. I don't mind. But I do love them. Rose says, it's not possible to talk too much about ding dongs. Love them as a kid. And could see eat a whole box in one sitting. Oh, me too. Oh, that's me too. Yeah, I like Ho-Ho's too, but... last year I had gone to White Pine to their bookstore. I don't know if you guys remember, but I need to put that in a picture up. And they were so kind to host me there for a book reading and a book signing in Tennessee. So it was down in like Gatlinburg, and they made me a cake that what looked like a ding dong, and it was awesome. It was so good, and that was a good trip. So that was a week ago, so I need to post that too. But anyways, anybody watching Wind Calls the Heart? It's a totally thing else. So I'm about sick of the love triangle. Jane can't get ding dongs there. Wow, Jane, where do you live? I know that where you live, but why wouldn't you be able to get ding dongs? We love Gatlinburg too. I think it reopened this weekend. But anyways, so now I'm gonna watch Wind Calls the Heart tonight. But I am over that triangle. You're not late to the topic, Darcy. We're still here, girl. So I watch Wind Calls the Heart because it's just a sweet little show. But tonight is the finale. So I hope she picks somebody. Now, Jane, they had to have ding dongs. That surprises me. That's okay, Darcy. I didn't have Hallmark until, I'm telling you, I had the COVID in December, and I didn't know you could get internet cable. So I called. We got a guest. I called and got internet cable while I was sick, and so I started watching it. That's crazy, Darcy. Because do you live in Indiana too? You're in Illinois. Gosh, that's crazy. They're good. But you like ho-hos. They're about the same thing. So, here we go. Oop, there's Roro. Roro. Hey. Hey, little girl. Hi. Yeah, she loves the boys. Absolutely loves the boys. She just loves boys. She loves men, loves boys. So, anyways, you guys, thank you for joining me. I see that the last thing says, Darcy says, not every state has him. East Coast has something else. Ooh, really? That's crazy. Crazy. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off here, and I think I'm on a 24-hour fast. I know, that's a whole nother issue. I do it every Sunday, so I ate a lot of Chinese food today. But anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow, probably for coffee in here. I've been trying to pop in for coffee on Mondays, but I'll for sure see you at 7 p.m. to read a couple chapters. You guys have a great night. I miss you. I love y'all, and wash your filthy hands.